They thought Earth was weak, insignificant, forgotten. But when the stars turned cold, humanity reminded them who we really are. It is the year 2225. Earth's horizon stretches far beyond the cradle of their home world. Colonies now dot the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, outposts gleaming like distant beacons in the darkness of space. The Terran Coalition has grown into a symbol of peace, a united force dedicated to exploration, discovery, and technological advancement. Each colony stands as a testament to humanity's unyielding spirit, creations of steel and light, built on the ashes of past wars, now serving as stepping stones for the future. Humanity's reach into the outer solar system is a marvel of science and ingenuity. Massive mining operations on asteroids provide resources once thought unattainable. Researchers, engineers, and explorers work hand in hand to unlock the mysteries of distant worlds. The Coalition's flagship, Resolute, sails through the stars as a symbol of peace. Its crew, a mixture of diplomats, scientists, and military officers, personify the hope that humanity will one day find its place among the stars. But despite the accomplishments, there's a gnawing isolation. Earth, now surrounded by allies, faces the chilling unknown beyond the stars. In every new encounter, there's the underlying fear. What if the galaxy is not as welcoming as humanity hopes? The stars remain silent, distant, enigmatic, offering no answers, only more questions. The optimism is palpable, but beneath the surface, something darker lurks. Humanity's peaceful reach into the stars is starting to feel like a mere prelude. There are whispers of an empire, one that may not be as inclined toward diplomacy. The transmission from the Karnathi Dominion arrives on the Resolute without ceremony. It's cold, methodical, devoid of warmth or emotion. The Karnathi are a species of towering reptilian warriors, their scales as black as the void, their eyes cold and calculating. Their empire is a network of military might, forged through suppression, conquest, and fear. The Dominion has spread its influence across countless systems, and now they have turned their eyes toward humanity. Commander Ashavan, standing before the transmission panel, listens intently. The Karnathi leader's voice has a low, guttural growl, speaking in an unyielding cadence. "We have watched your progress," the voice echoes in the room. "You call this a peaceful expansion, but we know peace is a facade. You will never understand the strength it takes to control an empire. You will never understand the cost of maintaining order." The Dominion's approach is one of control. Their message is clear. Humanity's idealism will be tested by the hard realities of the galaxy. The Resolute crew watches in silence, the tension mounting. Every word from the Karnathi feels like a challenge to their ideals, to everything humanity has worked for. There is no sign of goodwill, only a recognition of humanity's growing potential as a threat. As Vance listens, a knot tightens in her chest. There is no doubt that the Karnathi will see humanity as a force to be dealt with, not one to be negotiated with. Commander Vance stands on the bridge of the Resolute, staring out at the swirling blackness of space. The ship is on course for the Karnathi homeworld, and the weight of her mission presses heavily on her shoulders. She is tasked with navigating the fraught diplomatic waters between humanity and the Dominion, a delicate balance of peace and fear, hope and suspicion. "I don't trust them," Vance mutters to herself, her voice a whisper. The words have become a constant refrain. She's seen the signs, their calculated coldness, their insistence on superiority. But still, a part of her holds on to the belief that diplomacy can succeed. Perhaps there is a way to turn their anger into understanding. As she prepares to address the Karnathi leaders, Vance is torn between two roles, the diplomat and the strategist. Her mind runs through the protocols, the speeches, the gestures of goodwill that could prevent disaster. But beneath it all, there is a simmering fear that words may not be enough. Her thoughts are interrupted by the voice of her second-in-command, Lieutenant Rios. "Commander, we're approaching the Dominion's border." Vance straightens, her gaze hardening. Prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. Just hours after docking at the Karnathi space station, the news arrives. A research station on Callisto, one of Jupiter's moons, has been destroyed. A massive explosion witnessed by several probes has obliterated the station. But the most chilling detail comes in a transmission intercepted by the Resolute. A cold clinical message from the Karnathi Dominion. "You were becoming a threat. We neutralized it." The words hit like a punch to the gut. Humanity's first encounter with the Karnathi was supposed to be a delicate dance of diplomacy, but this is something else entirely. The research station was a symbol of peaceful human exploration, an outpost of knowledge and unity. And now, it is nothing but ash. Van stares at the transmission, her body trembling with rage. "She fired first," she mutters under her breath. A deep sense of betrayal floods her chest, mixing with the shock. This was no negotiation gone wrong. This was an attack, unprovoked, aimed at silencing humanity's reach. The screen flickers on as Vance watches, her hands gripping the edge of the console. The video feed is grainy, but the image is clear. Her younger brother, Ethan, smiling as he works in the lab on Callisto. And then, static. A flash, and the screen is consumed by a violent explosion. Her breath catches in her throat. "Ethan!" She sees the flash of his face, frozen in time, and then the emptiness of the screen. He's gone. The weight of that moment crashes down on her, a deep personal grief that transforms her sorrow into something far darker. "You killed him!" Vance whispers, her voice trembling with fury. She stands, her eyes burning with a cold, simmering rage. This is no longer about diplomacy. This is about revenge. She turns to Rios, her face hardening with determination. "Rally the fleet. We're going after them." The transformation is palpable. Commander Aisha Vance, once a diplomat, is now a woman driven by the need for justice, or at least a sense of retribution. The peacekeepers are gone. In their place, an officer fueled by the need to protect, to avenge, and to fight. The news of the attack spreads quickly across Earth, and the world is shaken to its core. Panic sets in. The idea of peace in space, the dream of unity, is shattered. Nations on Earth are divided. But one thing is clear: humanity is no longer safe. News outlets broadcast footage of the explosion, of the devastation on Callisto, and the raw grief of families who have lost loved ones. The Terran Coalition's leadership, once confident in their position, is now on the defensive. Fear permeates every level of society. The thought of an alien empire capable of such brutality is almost too much to bear. People are scared. They want answers, and they want justice. Vance's message, broadcasted to the public, echoes through the global networks. We will respond. We will show them the strength of humanity. The seeds of war have been planted. There is no turning back now. Commander Vance stands before her fleet, a massive armada now gathered in Earth's defense. The vast expanse of space stretches out before them, a battleground waiting to be claimed. Vance's face is a mask of resolve, her eyes steely and unyielding. "This is not just about revenge," she says, her voice ringing out to the crew of the Resolute and the fleets behind her. "This is about ensuring humanity's survival. We will not stand idly by while they tear apart everything we've built." The crew nods, their faces set with determination. They are no longer explorers, they are soldiers, and the fight ahead will be unlike any they faced before. Vance looks out into the vastness of space. They fired first, but we will fire last. The defiant words hang in the air, a declaration that echoes across the stars. Humanity will rise to the challenge. The stars stretch out before the Terran Coalition's fleet, an endless sea of black speckled with the distant glow of alien systems. The future seems endless, yet the air within the flagship Resolute is thick with unease. Commander Aisha Vance stands by the viewing window, gazing out into the void. The hum of the ship's engines is a constant reminder of the uncertain peace humanity struggles to maintain. Despite the destruction of Callisto, despite the thousands of lives lost, humanity is trying one last time to avoid the horrors of war. Diplomatic messages are sent, emphasizing Earth's desire for peaceful relations, for understanding. The transmissions are carefully worded, measured, cautious, and hopeful. Yet beneath the words lies the burning question: will the Kurnothi, a species of cold calculation and military dominance, ever truly understand the concept of peace? Asha's fingers tighten around the railing as she considers the weight of their next message. Will this be enough? Her thoughts are interrupted by a soft chime. Commander, incoming reply from Karnathi Command. Asha takes a breath, her chest heavy with both dread and anticipation. The words on the screen: we acknowledge your message. Do not test our patience, echo in her mind like a warning. The response is cold, sterile. Peace seems an illusion, as thin as the atmosphere outside the Resolute. The war drums begin to beat in the silent depths of space. Earth's hopes, fragile as they were, shatter with one brutal, unprovoked attack. Mars, the heart of humanity's military presence in the outer solar system. The shipyards, home to Earth's finest vessels, are reduced to flaming debris in the blink of an eye. The attack is swift, relentless, and leaves no time for retaliation, no time to mourn. News spreads across the coalition like wildfire: shock, disbelief, anger. The message from the Karnathi is chilling. You are becoming a threat. We neutralized it. The words cut through the diplomatic fog like a blade. Asha stands at the command center, staring at the screen. Her hands tremble, but her jaw sets with a grim resolve. This is no longer a matter of peace. It's war. The first blow has been struck. Humanity's carefully crafted diplomacy was never enough to change the Karnathi's vision, an empire forged in the fire of preemptive strikes. The Karnathi see their own future as an endless campaign of domination, and Earth's hope for a peaceful existence was simply a fleeting thought in their cold, calculating eyes. The atmosphere in the war room is thick with tension, an unspoken question hanging over the proceedings. How does humanity respond to the attack on Mars? Commander Asha Vance, standing beside the map of the solar system, listens as the War Council erupts in debate. The military leaders demand immediate retaliation. The civilians, however, urge caution, fearful of escalating the conflict into an all-out war. Retaliation, General Kepler, a grizzled war veteran, growls, is the only way forward. We cannot let them think we are weak. They already think we're weak, Asha mutters under her breath, her mind racing with strategic calculations. The Council's indecision only feeds into the enemy's belief that Earth is a paper tiger. She speaks up, her voice cutting through the argument. We're not just fighting for survival here. We're fighting for the soul of humanity. The Karnathi aren't just invaders, they're destroyers, and if we retaliate without thought, we'll be no better. But as she glances around the room, she sees it. The fear, the hesitation. Some faces are resolute, others pale with dread. The weight of this decision is not just on the War Council, it's on all of humanity. Asha knows what's coming. The war is no longer something to avoid. It's something to face head on. The time for cautious words has passed. Now is the time for bold action. Asha's mind works quickly. With the Karnathi on the offensive, the need for intelligence has never been greater. She proposes a daring plan, a mission to capture a Karnathi dreadnought, the heart of their military might. If they can infiltrate it, analyze its command protocols, and learn their tactics, humanity might stand a chance at turning the tide of war. Are you mad? Admiral Fedorov, a veteran of 100 battles, growls at the table. That's suicide. Asha doesn't flinch. Maybe, but if we don't try, we'll be fighting blind. We need to know how to fight them, and we need to know now. Her proposal is met with shock and hesitation, but as the hours pass, the desperation within the room begins to shift. The only way to win is to do something no one expects. The plan is risky, but in the face of annihilation, sometimes a calculated risk is all that's left. The members of Spearfall are humanity's finest, chosen not just for their combat prowess, but for their ability to adapt, to survive against impossible odds. Asha surveys the team before the mission, men and women who have been forged in the heat of battle, who live by the code of resilience. Among them is Lieutenant Kieran Holt, a sharpshooting marksman with a quick wit, Sergeant Elena Tan, an expert in covert operations, and Dr. Sarah Quinn, a former tactical strategist turned field operative. Asha knows each of them by heart, but she also knows the cost of failure. This mission isn't just about capturing the Dreadnought. It's about showing the Karnathi that humanity isn't something they can push around. The unit nods. They're all in this together, and each of them understands the stakes. The tension is palpable as they prepare for their drop onto the Dreadnought. The odds are against them, but humanity has never been afraid of a fight. On Earth, the streets boil with anger. The news of Mars's destruction has ignited a firestorm of fury among the civilian population. Calls for revenge echo through every major city. The media broadcasts images of the attack, and the people cry out for justice. The cries are heard in every corner of Earth. No longer just military leaders, but ordinary citizens demand action.
Asha watches from the Resolute's command deck, the tension in her chest tightening. She feels it too, the rage, the desire for vengeance. But she knows that revenge could lead them down a dangerous path. How much more of humanity will be sacrificed for this war? She sends a message back to Earth's leadership, urging restraint. But the cries for vengeance grow louder, and her voice seems smaller with each passing hour. Back on Earth, Asha stands in the quiet of her childhood home. The smell of old wood and the warmth of family fill the air. It's a rare moment of peace in an otherwise chaotic world. Her mother, a gentle yet firm woman, sits across from her, her face etched with worry. "What do we do when the stars betray us?" she asks quietly. Asha pauses. The weight of her mother's words linger in the air. Her mind flashes to the devastation of Mars, to the cold, unfeeling aggression of the Karnathi. "We teach the stars to fear us back," Asha replies, her voice steely. The resolve in her heart solidifies. She knows now that Earth's survival, its future, is no longer about peace. It's about proving to the galaxy that humanity will not be crushed. They will rise. They will fight. The decision is made. Humanity's war with the Karnathi has begun. Asha gathers her team, the final preparations underway. The Dreadnought mission is set, and every member of Spearfall knows what is at stake. There is no going back now. The Council has spoken. War is no longer a possibility. It is a certainty. As Asha gazes out at the fleet preparing to launch, her heart pounds with the weight of what comes next. This is the beginning of humanity's struggle for survival, the fight for their future. War is inevitable, and Asha Went will lead them into it. The vastness of space sprawls before them as Spearfall's vessel glides silently toward the fortified Karnathi border system. The stars gleam coldly, their distant light only amplifying the tension thick in the air. Asha stands at the helm, her eyes scanning the radar screen, every heartbeat synchronized with the ship's pulse. The silence is only broken by the soft hum of the engines, a constant reminder of the peril they are about to face. "We're about to enter the lion's den." Sergeant Makel's voice is low, heavy with resolve. His augmented body glints under the dim lighting, a perfect blend of man and machine. His past weighs on him, but this mission is his redemption. The edge of desperation sharpens his senses. "We've been through worse," Ellis Reeve, the ship's smuggler turned pilot, responds, his tone dripping with cynicism. He pulls the throttle back, aligning their stealth ship with the Karnathi defensive network, using his exceptional skills to navigate the heavily guarded space.
Dr. Ki Min watches the screens closely. Her mind whirs through equations and alien tech that none of the others can comprehend. The Karnathi won't see us coming, if we're lucky. Asha's fingers hover over the command console, her gaze unwavering. The team's reliance on technology is their greatest strength, but it's also a dangerous gamble. One wrong move and the mission ends before it even begins. The ship's cloaking technology flickers, briefly revealing their presence. A brief pulse runs through Asha's veins, but it's too late to pull back now. The infiltration has begun. As the team breaks through the final layer of the Karnathi defenses, they are met with a world unlike any they've seen before. The ship drifts through a gaseous nebula, eerie green lights reflecting off the thick clouds that swirl ominously outside. Gravity fluxes distort their surroundings, pulling at their senses, making every movement feel like a journey through molasses. Outside, jagged rocks twist into unnatural formations, pulsing with an unknown energy. Biosensors pulse from the surface of the planet below, scanning for anything that doesn't belong. Dr. Min's fingers dance over the interface, her eyes narrowed in concentration. "We'll have to use the ship's secondary systems to mask our approach," she mutters. Though her voice lacks its usual calm, this planet isn't just hostile, it's alive, watching them. Sergeant Mako checks his weapons, his mind already preparing for the worst. We don't know what's down there, or what it'll take to survive. With every second that passes, the alien world feels more like a predator stalking them, waiting for the right moment to strike. The eerie silence amplifies the fear. What dangers lie beneath the surface? What traps await them in the shadows of this hostile land? The crew of Spearfall is as mismatched as they come. Each member has their own reasons for being here, their own burdens to bear. Sergeant Mako stands near the back of the ship, his eyes scanning the planet through the viewport. His augmented body is a work of military precision, but his soul is broken. I'm here for one thing, redemption. He mutters under his breath, the words to no one in particular. His past haunts him, a constant reminder of what he lost. Dr. Ki Min adjusts the settings on her terminal, the delicate lines of her face contorted in concentration. If we survive this mission, we'll have to decode Karnathi tech. They're the key to this war. She speaks softly to herself, but it's clear she's not just solving a puzzle, she's afraid of what she might find. Ellis Reeve lounges in his chair, legs propped up, a half smile on his lips. Authority doesn't suit me, but Earth's worth it, he says with a shrug, not bothering to hide his resentment toward the mission's higher-ups. Still, his loyalty to Earth is undeniable. He's a rogue, but without a cause.
They are more than a team. They are misfits. Their skills complement each other in unexpected ways, but the personalities clash. Every mission is a test of patience and trust. Stay alive, and we make it home, Asha tells them, her voice calm but firm, the weight of their lives hanging in her words. The Karnathi dreadnought looms before them, a colossal fortress in space, its sleek, jagged form nearly black against the stars. The sheer scale of the ship is breathtaking, a testament to Karnathi engineering. Asha can't help but feel a flicker of awe and fear. This is it, Asha whispers, as she prepares to infiltrate the heart of the enemy's power. Every step now could be their last. Inside the dreadnought, the corridors are dark and cold, the walls humming with a strange energy. The team moves quickly, their boots making no sound on the metallic floor. The stakes couldn't be higher. Every second counts, and the dreadnought is a maze, filled with unknowns and the constant looming threat of detection. They are not alone. The eerie silence is broken by the occasional hum of alien machinery, the soft whir of systems coming online. But it's not the technology they need to fear. It's the Karnathi themselves, lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike. While analyzing the ship's systems, Dr. Min uncovers a chilling revelation. The Karnathi's primary fear isn't Earth's military might, it's humanity's rapid evolution. The ability to adapt, think creatively, and emotionally respond to threats at an unprecedented rate sends shockwaves through the team. The Karnathi fear us, Dr. Min breathes, the words dawning on her like a weight. They see us as a threat because we can change. We're unpredictable, creative. That's why they want us gone. Asha's stomach turns. The threat is more personal than they thought. They're not just fighting for territory, they're fighting for their survival. The revelation shifts everything. The team isn't just up against an empire, they're facing a fear-driven race terrified of humanity's potential to evolve beyond anything the universe has ever seen. The team discovers a horrifying set of plans, cleansing strikes, a systematic approach to wipe out humanity before it can reach its full potential. We're not just dealing with a war, Asha mutters, staring at the list of scheduled strikes. This is genocide. The room is silent, the weight of the discovery hanging in the air. Asha's fingers tremble as she transmits the data back to Earth. If we fail, humanity is finished. The team knows now that their mission has changed. It's no longer just about survival or reconnaissance, it's about saving the future of the human race. The escape from the dreadnought is nothing short of a miracle. Karnathi forces are closing in, and every move the team makes is a calculated risk. "Keep moving," Asha shouts, the tension palpable as the countdown begins. The alarms blare, echoing through the halls of the dreadnought as the team races toward the extraction point. The ship's corridors are chaos as the team fights their way out. Makel's fists crash into enemies with brutal efficiency, while Ellis maneuvers the ship with the finesse of a man who spent his life dodging death. But the Karnathi are relentless. The team barely makes it to their vessel in time, just as the dreadnought erupts in the fiery explosion, shaking the stars themselves. Back on Earth, the truth is laid bare. The information they brought back is irrefutable. Humanity is marked for extinction. The leaders gather in tense silence, the decision weighing heavily on their shoulders. Asha watches the council debate, her heart heavy. "We can't turn back now," she says, her voice steady despite the storm inside her. It's war. As a decision is made, Asha realizes that the cost of survival is steep. There will be no going back from here. The war to save humanity has begun. The void of space is cold and silent, but the Terran fleet is alive with movement. The hum of engines fills the command center aboard the Sovereign, the flagship of the Terran Armada. Captain Vance stands at the helm, his hand steady as he watches the holographic display. The operation is set. Operation Last Light, the final act of defiance. "All ships in position," reports Commander Elise. Her voice betrays no emotion, but her eyes are sharp. She, like all aboard, knows the magnitude of what's about to unfold. The Karnathi won't know what hit them. Vance nods, his expression hardening. Then let's make sure they remember. The Terran fleet is not just a symbol of humanity's will to fight. It's a culmination of years of preparation, of innovation, of sacrifices made in the shadows of war. From quantum full drives to stealth armor, the humans are armed with their most advanced technologies. Every ship in the fleet is a testament to Earth's resilience, and every soldier, every commander, knows this is their last chance to end the conflict. With a series of synchronized commands, the fleet moves into the heart of the Karnathi systems. Each ship glows with an intensity born of desperation and resolve. The first strike is calculated, precise. The Karnathi won't know how to respond to such sudden and overwhelming force. "We hit them hard and fast, no mercy," Vance orders, his voice resolute. The time of diplomacy has passed. This is war. The fleet dives into the fray, pushing through enemy lines. A series of devastating pulses rip through the Karnathi defense grid. Their system is fractured in moments, caught by surprise. Humanity's wrath is unleashed. The operation has begun. Asha stands before the strategic hologram, her gaze intense, calculating. The Terran forces have punched through, but the real test is yet to come. The Karnathi fleet is larger, more established, but there's a flaw, and Asha knows exactly where to strike.
We have one advantage they don't expect. They've been overconfident, and we're going to use that against them. Asha's plan is daring, audacious, a tactic that's become part of the Karnathi playbook, turned against them. Guerrilla warfare, small, lightning-fast strikes aimed at the heart of their arrogance. You want to fight like a bully? Then we'll show them how the weak fight back, Asha declares. The Terran fleet splits into small, mobile units, cloaking themselves with precision. They move through the shadows, using the Karnathi's own strategy of surprise against them. The larger fleet, stretched thin, becomes a target for coordinated sabotage. Every Terran strike is swift and silent, leaving chaos in their wake. One by one, the Karnathi ships fall into disarray. The human ingenuity is unmatched as the enemy struggles to regroup. Asha's strategy is not just about power, it's about psychology. The Karnathi's confidence, their arrogance, is their undoing. In the heart of the chaos, Asha watches with a mix of triumph and resolve. The tide has turned. Humanity is not only surviving, they are dominating. The atmosphere is thick with tension as the Terran forces advance. And then, out of the depths of space, a new force enters the battlefield, the Leviathans. Earth's most powerful, most feared weapons have arrived. A massive, ominous shadow looms over the battlefield as the Leviathans emerge, their dark forms gliding effortlessly through space. These are no ordinary ships. Powered by quantum fold drives, they tear through the cosmos at unimaginable speeds, their weapon systems an amalgamation of human creativity and terrifying precision. The sight of them is awe-inspiring. Terran soldiers, eyes wide, watch in reverence as the Leviathans descend into the fray. They are not just ships. They are the embodiment of humanity's defiance, a symbol of how far Earth has come in the face of overwhelming odds. Vance's voice crackles over the comms, filled with awe. Deploy the disruptors. Let them feel the weight of our determination. The Leviathans are activated, their energy shields shimmering like the edge of a blade. The first volley of fire erupts, tearing through the Karnathi fleet with the force of a cosmic storm. The enemy cannot react fast enough. The sheer might of humanity's technology leaves them reeling. The Leviathans are unstoppable. They break through the heart of the enemy lines and the shock is palpable. The Karnathi, who once thought themselves invincible, are now fighting for their survival against a force they never anticipated. The Terran forces, emboldened, press forward. The war is not over, but the end is within reach. The ground trembles beneath the weight of Earth's wrath. The Leviathans, with their devastating firepower, continue to cut through the Karnathi defenses like a blade through flesh. One by one, the Karnathi strongholds fall. There's no time to regroup, no time to prepare. The pace is relentless. With every blast, the Terran forces carve their way deeper into the heart of the Karnathi Empire. The once imposing walls of the enemy crumble under the precision of human warfare. As each stronghold falls, the morale of the Karnathi fractures. The realization sets in. They are no longer the dominant force in the galaxy. The Terran Empire is not just retaliating, they are winning. The battlefield echoes with the sound of destruction. The Terran forces don't stop. They don't falter. Each victory drives them forward, pushing them toward the ultimate confrontation. The collapse of the Karnathi stronghold signals a new dawn for humanity. The endgame has begun. Karnathi Prime, the jewel of the Karnathi Empire, looms ahead. The final battle will take place here, on the surface of this alien world. The planet is a sight to behold, its jagged peaks and sweeping valleys creating an eerie beauty. Yet beneath this natural wonder lies a fortress unlike any other. The defenses are fierce. Karnathi Prime is heavily fortified, surrounded by layers of protective shields and heavily guarded cities. The capital city, Kinross, stands as the last bastion of Karnathi power. The Terran fleet approaches, and the tension is palpable. Every soldier knows that this is the end. Either the Terran forces will succeed, or they will fall. Asha stands on the bridge of the Sovereign, looking out at the planet ahead. "This is it," she says softly. "Everything we fought for, it ends here." Her words are not just a statement, they are a declaration. The stakes could not be higher. Humanity's survival, their future in the galaxy rests on the outcome of this battle. The Terran forces prepare for the final assault. But in the silence before the storm, a new fear creeps in. What if they fail? What if this was all for nothing? The answer is clear. There is no turning back. The fate of two species hangs in the balance. The final assault on Kinross is brutal. The Terran forces push forward, but their hearts are heavy. As they close in on the heart of the capital, Asha makes a decision. One last attempt to avoid total destruction. This is Commander Asha of the Terran fleet. Surrender now, and we will spare your people. Fight, and you will all perish. For a moment, the communication channel is silent. The Karnathi are known for their pride, their unwillingness to back down. This may be humanity's final chance for peace, but will they take it? The response comes, a refusal. The Karnathi believe humanity has no choice but to destroy them. They underestimate the humans, yet again. Asha looks out at the battlefield, her heart heavy. "So be it," she says quietly. "The moment for peace has passed. Now, humanity must finish what it started." Asha's voice is unwavering as she gives the order. "Activate the solar disruptor. Make them understand." The Leviathans shift in position, their weapons primed. The solar disruptor is humanity's final statement, a weapon capable of shutting down a star's fusion for 60 seconds. It's not designed to kill, but to terrify, to make the Karnathi realize that Earth is not just capable of destruction, they are capable of precision. The weapon fires, and the heavens themselves tremble. The sun flickers, its light dimming for a brief, heart-stopping moment. Across the battlefield, the Karnathi fleet falters. Panic spreads like wildfire. The demonstration of human power is absolute. The message is clear. Humanity is not to be trifled with. The Leviathans are not just tools of war. They are a declaration. The Karnathi surrender. In this belief, they watch as the Terran fleet continues its advance, their hearts gripped with fear. They have underestimated humanity, and now they must face the consequences. The reality of their situation settles in like a cold, suffocating fog. They thought they were the dominant force in the galaxy, but now they know better. Humanity's power is undeniable. Captain Van steps forward, his expression grim yet resolute. "We could have ended you. We didn't. Remember that."
His words cut through the stillness. The message is clear. Humanity has triumphed, not just through strength, but through restraint. The Karnathi will never forget this moment. The cold winds of Earth whipped through the empty streets, carrying with them the sound of distant chimes, a ritual of remembrance. The once bustling cities now stood silent, as if the planet itself was taking a breath, trying to digest the horror of the past few years. Monuments were erected in memory of the dead, their names etched into cold stone, each one a life snuffed out too soon. But amid the somberness, there was also something else, something more profound. In the heart of New York, an enormous screen flickered to life, showing Asha standing at the head of a crowd, eyes hard as steel. Behind her, the remains of Earth's military forces were marching in synchronized steps, their expressions somber yet resolute. The victory against the Karnathi was not the kind of triumph anyone had imagined. Today, Asha's voice echoed across the city. We honor those who fought and those who did not make it home. We are all survivors, but we are not unscarred. Her words, though strong,
were laced with the weight of all the lives lost. The footage on the screen showed scenes of devastation, cities reduced to rubble, and the faces of soldiers who had gone to battle with nothing but the hope of returning. Yet, even in this overwhelming silence, something remarkable flickered in the eyes of the people: the spark of human resilience. The survivors stood tall, not because they were without grief, but because they had the courage to move forward, to rebuild, and to honor the memory of the fallen. In the back alleys of every city, in the smallest towns that had barely survived, humanity was quietly picking up the pieces. Children, their faces dusty but hopeful, played in the streets. Veterans, their hands worn and their bodies broken, found solace in knowing that they had saved the future, no matter the cost. Earth was bruised, battered, but still standing. And for the first time in a long while, Asha allowed herself a small, private smile as she looked out over the sea of people. They had won, not because they were the strongest, but because they had refused to give up. The grand halls of Earth's new command center were filled with chatter and ceremony, the accolades flowing freely. News outlets broadcasted footage of Asha, her flawless victory still fresh in everyone's mind. She stood on the stage, receiving her promotion as General of the Terran Forces. The applause was thunderous, reverberating through the vast hall. Yet in the depth of her eyes there was no joy, only emptiness. Asha's mind wandered to the battles, the lives lost, and how the war had ravaged her soul. The Karnathi had been a merciless enemy, but in their wake, Earth was left scarred. She walked to the podium with military precision, the weight of the medal she was about to receive pulling on her chest, almost suffocating her. The uniform that once symbolized honor now felt like a shackle. "We're proud to call you a hero, General Asha," the speaker said, his voice filled with reverence. Yet all Asha could think of was the faces of the soldiers who would never return, the children who had no parents, the families that would never be whole again. The silent sacrifices made by those who fought, not for glory, but for survival. She stood still, her expression hard as the crowd cheered. The cheers, the adoration, none of it could fill the hollow pit inside her heart. She had led humanity to victory, but at what cost? Her fingers tightened around the podium, her gaze flicking to the empty seat reserved for her fallen comrades. The lights in the room felt too bright, too harsh. Asha was keenly aware of the quiet that had enveloped her in the aftermath of the applause. Alone in the chaos, she felt distant from the accolades, from the people celebrating. They saw victory, but she saw only loss. She could not shake the feeling that humanity had paid too high a price for survival. "I don't deserve this," Asha muttered to herself as she turned away from the podium. The weight of her new position was nothing compared to the burden of those who would never again walk beside her. As she exited the hall, the corridor seemed cold and sterile. Everything felt out of place. The cheers had stopped echoing in her ears, replaced by the grim silence that followed the stillness of her thoughts. Asha knew she would never find peace, not after all that had been sacrificed. The true cost of war, of survival, was something no one could ever understand, not until they had lived it themselves. These two scenes set up the weight of victory and the emotional toll it takes on Asha. The shift from celebration to internal conflict emphasizes the complexity of human resilience, how survival, while hard-won, often comes with an unbearable cost. The Galactic Unity Center gleamed with the soft light of distant stars shining through transparent walls. It was a place of reflection, progress, and for many, a symbol of a future where humanity and its former enemies would coexist. The room, filled with delegates and leaders from across the galaxy, was eerily quiet as a young Karnathi student stepped forward to the podium. His antennae twitched nervously, but his posture was firm, betraying the calm strength that had come from years of peace. He inhaled deeply and began. "You feared us. We feared you more."
But when Earth fired last, you didn't destroy us. You made us listen. The words carried with them a heavy meaning, a powerful weight. The Karnathi, the fierce enemy who had brought the war to Earth, were now standing side by side with humanity in a place of learning and cooperation. This speech wasn't just a reflection on the past, it was a promise for a shared future. The room held its breath as the student continued, speaking of the fragility of peace, of the scars of war, and the hope that came with rebuilding. The conflict between Earth and the Karnathi had shaped them both, but it was in that shared devastation that they found common ground. The student's voice quivered slightly. Together we have learned. Together we will move forward. And in that moment, as the first true step towards intergalactic unity was taken, it became clear Earth's fight for survival had forged a new path for the galaxy. In the corner of the vast hall, partially hidden in the shadows, Asha stood. Her weathered face, aged by time and the weight of leadership, remained stoic as she watched the young Karnathi student speak. The years had changed her. The fire that once blazed in her eyes now simmered beneath a calm exterior. She had given everything to the war. And now, watching the fruits of that sacrifice unfold, the emotions were tangled inside her.
The speech echoed in her mind, stirring memories of the battlefields, her hands covered in the blood of enemies and comrades alike. Yet, as the student's words wove a tale of peace, Asha couldn't shake the heavy burden that had never left her shoulders. Victory had cost more than anyone could ever know. She had led humanity to survival, but at what cost? Her heart ached as the years slipped away, and the faces of those she had lost flickered in her mind. Asha felt the sting of something she hadn't felt in a long time: regret. As the event wrapped up, Asha stepped away from the crowd, retreating to a quiet hallway. It was there that a reporter, eager for answers, approached her. His voice broke the silence with a single question, one that she had been expecting, yet feared. "Do you regret the war?" Asha turned toward him, her eyes weary, her face unreadable. She had been asked that question so many times before, and every time it felt like a punch to the gut. The words lingered in the air between them, simple yet cutting deep. Her response was measured, her voice low. "Regret? Always." The reporter waited, sensing there was more. Asha continued, her gaze distant. "The decisions we made, the lives lost, it's something I'll carry with me. But if we hadn't stood, Earth would have fallen. That's the reality we had to face." Asha exhaled slowly, her fingers tightening around the railing as she steadied herself. "But we fired last, and we made it count." Her words were clipped, no longer filled with the passion of battle, but with the hardened resolve of a leader who had seen too much. She looked into the reporter's eyes, a silent understanding passing between them. This wasn't about pride or victory, it was about survival. The weight of leadership had always been heavy, but now it was unbearable. She could still hear the screams of her soldiers, feel the blast of alien ships exploding in the sky, see the faces of the dead in her dreams. The war had been a nightmare, and the scars were permanent. But in the end, humanity had survived. Asha's voice softened, her gaze turned inward. Sometimes, survival is all we have left to give. The reporter nodded, understanding more than words could express. He stepped back, but Asha remained in place, staring out into the stars. She had led them to this moment, but it had come at a cost, one that she would never fully reconcile. The sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow across the memorial wall, an imposing structure that stood at the heart of Earth's capital. Thousands of names were etched into its surface, each one a reminder of the price of war. Families gathered around, some silent, others crying, but all paying their respects to those who gave everything for the survival of their world. Asha stood before the wall, her eyes tracing the names. Each letter carved into the stone felt like a personal loss. Her hand brushed the cold surface as she whispered the words beneath the names. Never again, unless we must. It was a promise, not just to the fallen, but to the generations to come. Earth would never forget the cost of their survival. The lessons of war, the sacrifices, would remain etched in the hearts of every human who lived on this planet. And as Asha turned to walk away, she knew one thing for sure. The war might have been over, but its legacy would continue to shape humanity as long as the stars burned above them.